suede shoes in the rain. I've got the squelchiest feet possible, so when you hear squelching, that's what it is. Okay, so my name is Ben, and I was brought up in a single parent family. So I lost my dad to the big C when I was 7 on Christmas Eve. Damn you, crackhead Claire! So she ran off with my dad, is the crux of the story. She ran off with my dad, and it broke my heart, okay? So I didn't have many friends at school. Being ginger, we used to get picked on quite a bit, and I thought, I've got to talk to someone. So I thought, I've got my one best friend at school. I went and spoke to Pearl when I went back to school after the Christmas holidays. I'd say she's my best friend. It was a dinner lady. So we had a nice conversation. She was chatting to me, talked me through it and stuff like that. But when I come back to school the next week, I had a new nickname. My name was No Father Christmas. It was brutal, and I thought, Pearl, I'm going to get you back one day, okay? Because that was a horrible thing to do. So being single parent, being poor, we used to, I don't know if anybody else come from a single parent family out here, but I know siblings used to bath together. Me and my sister, we couldn't even afford that, so all we used to have was golden showers. Bit disgusting, I know, but I liked it. That's a new one, I just thought on the way in, so I thought that was quite good. So then, so the golden showers, yes, so we were very, very poor, but having been a single parent child at school, it wasn't very fashionable then, there wasn't many of us. So it played with my mental health throughout my whole life. And what that's done to me is it all goes into my stomach. So I've always had a problem going to the toilet. I go to the toilet 7, 8, maybe 9 times a day, and it's always been that way with me. And it was becoming really sore down there, so I thought to myself, I've got to go to the doctors, but I don't really want to expose myself to the doctor. So I thought, what am I going to do? So I thought, I know, I'll take a selfie. So I've got home from work one day, and I thought, I've made my doctor appointment, so I've got on the toilet seat, I'm sitting there, and it was really sore, so I've edged off a little bit more, and I thought, right, this is the moment. So I've got my camera, positioned it correct, and I heard, Dad, Dad, Dad! I'm like, what is it? I'm busy at the moment. And he's like, running up the stairs, banging on the door, Dad, Dad! I said, what is it? He said, you're on TikTok Live! Which was very embarrassing. So you can imagine some of the messages I had come through, none worse than my father-in-law, who sent me a winky face and an aubergine emoji. So I don't know what he was trying to get at there, okay? So I've always had a problem with my stomach, so I managed to get the photo in the end. And I've gone to the doctor and said, Doctor, I've got real problems behind there. It's causing me real issues. He said, Mr. Summers, jump up on the table. I said, no need, doctor, I brought you a photo. So I've handed the photo over to the doctor. He's looked at it and he's just gone, thrown up all over his desk. He said, Mr. Summers, I've been a doctor for 20 years. I've never seen anything so hideous in all my life. He gave me the phone back and it was a selfie of my wife. I thought that in the shower and she absolutely loved it. I just do not stop laughing at that one, so I love that one, the selfie of my wife. So, all these problems, I know what you're thinking, ginger guy, he's lying about the wife, but I do actually have a wife, although I was very late in dating. So when I was 15, I was still playing with my wrestling toys. So it's a bit of a put-off for women. But eventually, I started going clubbing with my friends. We went clubbing one time when we were 18, and all my friends had lost their virginity apart from me. So I'm standing with friends, we're all drinking bottles of beer, and I see this vision of beauty in the middle of the dance floor. And I said to my mates, God, she's fit, isn't she? And they're like, go make a move. So I've gone over there, doing my best dance moves, creeping up behind her, and she's like backing up into me, giving it to me to come on. So I'm thinking, yes, this is great. She's turned around, and we've had the most romantic, beautiful slog on the dance floor. And I'm thinking, this is my time, this is going to happen. And the music finished, and she went off to her friends, left me on the dance floor, so I went back to my friends. I said, Ben, you've got to seal the deal. This is your moment. Go over there again. So I made my way over there. She's with all her friends and she's drinking loads of champagne. So I said to her friend, what's going on there? Why is she drinking so much champagne? She said, oh, she just won a competition. I said, what competition is that? She said, Paul the Pig. Oh. I know, sad, isn't it? But I did end up making love to her anyway. Okay, so we're back at her house and we've woken up and we're staring at each other. And she said, I didn't even get your name. I said, oh, my name's Ben. And she looked at me and I thought, I know this one from somewhere. She went, my name's Pearl. So I got my name back on her eventually, which was nice. I thought, those eyes never lied. I love them eyes. So she's looking at me and she said, do you want to try something new? And I said, okay, thinking in my head, this is all new to me. It's the first time I've done anything. So she leant over the bed and she pulled out this massive, great big dildo. And I'm thinking, right, she went, do you want to use this? I said, why here, why not? And it's lucky I had problems with my bumhole because it went straight up there. No problem whatsoever. So that was nice. So after that, where was I going after that? Oh, so, right, so after that, we've made love, so that's my virginity gone. But since that time, I've grown up now and I'm having a bit of a midlife crisis. So since I turned 40, I signed up to do the London Marathon. Whee! 4:11, in case anyone asks how much I did it in. 4:11, not bad. So we've done, while I was training for the London Marathon, the runs get longer and longer and longer. And as I said, I've always had trouble with my stomach. So I'm doing this 10K run once, got 5K through it, and I thought, oh my God, the belly's gurgling, I don't know what to do here. So I thought, I've got to go to the toilet. I can't make it back to this 5K back. So I've seen this little bushy area over here. So I've crossed the road, gone over there, and I've ducked down so the cars can't see me, pulled my shorts down, gone to the toilet. And as I'm just about to finish, I hear, here Derek, come here. And then I see this dog rummaging through the trees coming up. So I thought, oh no, that's embarrassing. So I pulled my shorts up, I stepped back a bit, run around the outside of the bushes, ran past the guy and went, mate, I don't know what you're feeding your dog, but you're going to have a nightmare clearing that up. So that was, yeah, I know. And he did, so that was nice. Part of my midlife crisis was also getting tattoos. So I've got some really nice ones, which are, if you can see them properly, which is M&M, which is my niece and nephew. It's their favourite colours, so they find it really cute. But I've also just got a really big Buddha on my leg. Now, when you get a tattoo in the tattoo shop, you do get put in your own room when you've got a big tattoo. So I'm sitting there and he started doing the tattoo. I hear next door, oh, that's so sore. Please stop. Oh no, that's horrible. And I'm thinking, what's happened to this poor woman? So we've come out at half time to have a drink. She's there. And I said, oh my God, I can hear you screaming. What are you getting done? She went, oh well, I'm getting my nunny done. It's a bit of a private area. I said, what are you getting done on your nunny? She said, well, I'm getting a chicken one side and I'm getting a lamb the other side. I said, you must really love those animals. She went, not really, but I do love a mixed doner. I know. That's one I like that one. So, after my midlife crisis, my wife is also going through the menopause, so I feel really sorry for my wife. She's got pain, she's angry all the time, she doesn't know if she loves me, hates me, or anything like that. So, but when she goes to bed, she gets massive hot flushes. Now, I hate the heat, I really do hate the heat, so I have to sleep naked. Now, I know what you're thinking, if I'm talking about being naked, I must be hung like a donkey. You're completely wrong. I've got a tiny little penis, but I have got a huge foreskin. Okay? So when we go to bed, my wife sets up the fan, the big industrial fan at the bottom of the bed, so it's going so I've managed to deal with the noise and I fall asleep, and then every night I get woken up as my foreskin is filled up with air, and it's like one of them tube guys coming out like that. And it's bright orange, and everyone can see it out the window. So it's very, very annoying. I hate it, and I don't know if you've ever heard a penis deflating. It's not a nice sound at all. At all. So, with wife going through the menopause, she doesn't really want sex anymore, okay? So, it's put me on a bit of a back foot, because I won't like to say I've started late anyway, I don't want to carry on that trend. But we don't have sex that much more, so it's got so bad that I went to the car garage the other day, and I started filling up with petrol. And as I'm putting the hose in the hole, I'm thinking, oh, this is nice. So I started pushing in the hose, pulling out the hose, and I'm getting all excited. I was stroking the back of the car, and then all of a sudden I finished, so everything's shot in there, so I was shaking it off, pulled it out, and I've just leant on the car, stroking it as I would, saying, thank you for that, darling, that was lovely. And I've turned around to have my post-sex cigarette, and I hear, number 2, can you put the cigarette away, please? Number 2, can you put the cigarette away? Very embarrassing times. Now, because I'm not having sex so much, what I thought I'd do, I know, I'll apply to be a porn star. Now, people have told me I look like a bit like Max Branning, so I know there's a market for it, because a lot of women fancy Max Branning. So I filled out the application form, and who knew? Ginger pasty white guys are the trend. So I filled out the form, got through to the interview stage, and the interview's going really well. They say, what would you do, what wouldn't you do? And I'm saying, well, I'll do this, that, and I've done stuff before, I've had stuff like we talked about, getting put anywhere. And they said, that's great, Mr. Thomas, really like you, but we have to ask you the final question. And I said, what is that question? He said, have you got 12 inches? And I said, I haven't, but it does smell like a foot. And that is it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed. That was Ben Summers. I think something's happened to the mic, hasn't it? Let's just adjust that.